My name is Ethan, a 29-year-old mechanical engineer who has dedicated nearly 10 years to the automotive field. The work is demanding, with endless hours that test both stamina and focus, but the steady paycheck has always ensured that my family lived comfortably and securely. My wife, Sophia, runs a small but stylish boutique in the heart of the city. She carries herself with a refined elegance, always perfectly dressed, as though she were about to step onto a fashion set rather than return to our modest apartment. We've been married for 7 years, together for a decade, and to most people our life looks steady, even predictable. But predictability has a way of concealing fractures. Sophia has always leaned toward extravagance, designer handbags, upscale dining, impromptu weekend escapes. I never objected. In my mind, her happiness was the foundation of our marriage. That belief remained unshaken until Cassandra came back into her world. Cassandra radiated presence. She had a natural magnetism, speaking with deliberate confidence that drew people in. "Know your worth," she would often proclaim. "Don't settle when life is too short to waste." One Thursday evening she appeared, insisting she and Sophia spend the weekend reconnecting. From that very night, the atmosphere shifted. During dinner, Cassandra made a passing remark. "Ethan, men rarely see what they have until it's slipping through their fingers. Women who truly recognize their value don't sit around waiting. They take charge." Her words carried weight, but it was the glance she cast towards Sophia that twisted my stomach. Sophia smiled faintly, nodded, and in that moment, I felt a wall go up, one I couldn't cross. The rest of the weekend played out in the same pattern. Cassandra's subtle pushes, each one carefully angled at Sophia, slowly reshaping her thoughts. I noticed how my wife laughed more freely at Cassandra's jokes than at mine, how she hung on every piece of advice, how her eyes lingered on her friend longer than they had on me in years. I stayed quiet, but I observed everything. Every shift in tone, every new expression, every small change. A few nights after Cassandra left, my unease hardened into something undeniable. Sophia and I shared a tablet, mostly for household planning and the occasional work file. Late one evening, I logged in to check a document and stumbled across a new voice memo labeled simply, "Urgent." Curiosity got the better of me. I pressed play. Cassandra's voice filled the room. "Sophia, you've waited long enough. It's time to reclaim your independence. Step away for a few days. Let him feel the void. If he truly treasures you, he'll fight for you. If he doesn't, maybe it's time to see what else is out there. Don't waste your life hoping he'll notice." My pulse raced. This wasn't just advice, it was a blueprint, and Sophia had already begun to follow it. The next evening, as I prepared for another late shift, she approached me. Her tone was calm but unwavering. "Ethan, I need some space, maybe a week, to clear my mind and think about us." I kept my voice even. "Where will you stay?" She hesitated before answering. "At Cassandra's." I didn't argue. "Do what you feel is necessary," I said. She packed lightly, brushed her lips against my cheek, and left, our apartment suddenly heavy with silence. Later that night, my phone buzzed with an alert from our joint credit card. An Uber charge, not to Cassandra's home, but to a boutique hotel downtown. An hour later, another notification, an extravagant dinner for two at the hotel's rooftop restaurant. The following morning, I checked her banking app. A transfer appeared from a man named Julian Carter, along with a note. Last night was unforgettable. Everything felt right. Cassandra's influence had taken root, and Sophia had acted on it. The evidence was plain. She hadn't even bothered to hide it, confident I wouldn't notice. But she had misjudged me. So I stayed quiet, biding my time, collecting every piece of proof. Every hotel receipt, every transfer, every ping from her phone's location history lined up like parts of a carefully assembled puzzle. Then came her casual text. "Hope your shift went well. Still doing some thinking." I didn't respond. She had no idea that I was already preparing my answer with deliberate precision. I scheduled a quiet consultation with a lawyer, initially presenting the situation without names. My suspicion was confirmed. Spending shared funds to finance an affair constituted a serious violation. With that knowledge, I discreetly separated our finances, cutting off her access to my accounts. Meanwhile, I built my case piece by piece. Screenshots, receipts, timestamps, and location logs, each item documented and organized with care. When Sophia finally returned a week later, Cassandra at her side, they carried the air of two people expecting an emotional reconciliation. Instead, I invited them both to sit. Then I slid a folder across the table. Inside lay the collection of evidence: hotel statements, tracker maps, bank transfers, annotated notes, everything in order. Sophia's face turned pale as she leafed through the pages. Cassandra opened her mouth to intervene, but a single steady look from me silenced her. "The evidence is right here," I said evenly. "You followed her counsel. You deceived me. You spent what was ours on this." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes as her voice broke. "I was lost, Ethan. I never meant for it to go so far." I slid one final document across the table: divorce papers. "You made your choice," I told her. "Now I'm making mine. This marriage is over." Her sobs echoed through the apartment, but I remained steady. After they left, calls from her family came one after another, urging me to forgive, to reconsider, to be patient. To each plea, I replied with the same calm answer: "The documents tell the story." My decision held firm. When Sophia later returned alone to collect the rest of her belongings, she begged for another chance. I didn't falter. "There's nothing left to discuss," I said flatly. Her explanations, her justifications, her attempts to regain some footing, all were met with silence. The choice was final. She eventually moved into a modest apartment. Julian disappeared the moment the money stopped flowing, and Cassandra slipped quietly out of her life. My home regained the quiet order I had always worked to protect, a reflection of discipline and resolve. Sophia had followed her friend's influence and strayed, but she never imagined the strength of my response. Walking away, without anger, without room for manipulation or regret, spoke louder than any argument could. It was decisive. It was final,